What's going on, guys? The Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial on this July 4th. Hope everybody has a happy and safe July 4th. This is going to be a little bit of a different tutorial. It's mainly focused just on the taper itself, trying to keep everything in real time, keep everything zoomed in as best I can, and just kind of talk my way through it, just what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So stick with me here, guys. We're going to start things off with my Babyliss FX trimmer. These are my hitters. These are going to put in the sharpest line that I possibly can and get it as close as I can without actually putting a shaver to the skin. And then I'm going to follow this up after I've put a nice clean line there, debulking all the bottom, getting it nice and cleaned up. I'm going to follow it up by flicking that line out with my cordless detailers. Now, a lot of people still have slim lines. Some people are using some of the Gamma and StyleCraft trimmers. Whatever your next trimmer up is, if you have a two trimmer setup, I have one that's just absolute, it just smacks, which is the FX, like I said. And then these detailers, you can use these on kids, softer areas, and so I'm basically just flicking that out. And the reason I do that is my closed Ergo will take out that flicked out detailer line at the bottom. So it's not a step that I have to worry about coming back in later on and cleaning up. It's something I can do right off the bat and just transition to it real smooth. We are doing at least a full inch here of an open section with the Ergo, the X Ergo, and I did recently just put the ceramic stagger tooth blade from the Wahl magic clip on here, just to see how it feels. Just kind of have like an Ergo / magic clip style clipper, and I did put the click system back in on my X Ergo. Now what I'm pointing at there, that's about how high up I'm going to go once I close this lever up halfway. About halfway to 3/4 of the way up through that initial open section. And then what you can do is, once you're done with this half open section, close that lever all the way up, and you're basically just going to be flicking at the very bottom of that line. That's how you're going to get the transition from basically skin with the FX, a little bit of a small section there with the detailer, the closed, no guard, half open, no guard, and then all the way open section right at the very top. And from there, we can go ahead and start connecting it up into the darker area above. So I'm going to start trying to connect it with an open one. We're going to do about the same size section as we did with that open section. It's going to be about a 1 inch or so, and then we're going to flick out once we get about an inch up into this dark area here, and then we're going to work that lever halfway closed. And I know that with the notch system, there's not really those kind of in-between spots that you can get to, but at the same time with the notch system, if you flick out with any type of good motion, you can get away with doing the 5 steps there with the click system. You can do it all the way open, half to that third click for your halfway open section, and then you can do it all the way closed at the very bottom. And as long as you're flicking out, you should be more than fine. I did jump up to a 2 guard, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flick up into the darker area above that initial 1 guard there, and then we'll go halfway open right here, drop down a little bit closer to where that bottom dark line is at, and then we'll close it up all the way and just try to blend that down into where we did that open one. And from there, you'll go straight into your magic eraser, which should be your Wahl premium half guard, and you can either start with that all the way open. A lot of times I'll knock it down at least one. I'll go 1 click closed with the half guard, if not halfway closed right off the bat. The half guard, it will cut some hair textures. It will cut some hair textures whenever it's all the way open, but for the most part, your best bet is to get it to at least a click or 2 into it being closed, and that's where you'll really start seeing your differences. So now I've got it all the way closed, and once again, you guys can see I'm just really scooping through and making sure that we're not digging in, we're not making real abrupt stops at the top of this fade, because what that's going to do, it's going to put a harsh line in, and it's going to force you to raise your fade up even higher. And guys, try to pay attention. I don't know if you could tell from that first side there. Maybe you'll be able to tell a little bit better on this side. These are set so sharp that they don't leave red marks, but you have to touch the skin or the hair with the lightest of touches, because that's how sharp they hit. But I've got them to where I can put a very sharp line in and not have to dig in at all, but at the same time they don't irritate the skin and stuff like that. So until the wheels fall off of that FX trimmer, that's probably the one I'm gonna rock with. If I have to cool care it twice every time I use it to knock the noise down, I'll do it, because for right now they are performing flawlessly, and I'm just too scared to pick up another trimmer, honestly. Alright guys, so like I said at the beginning of the video, this was not a full-on haircut tutorial. This is more focused in on the taper areas, but I did want to go ahead and leave in some sped up clips of me actually fading out the sides. I busted out the Andy Supras that I had from barber school from 4 years ago. If you guys have seen that detachable blade only challenge, you guys did see that I brought these back out. And I've used them a few times since then. But basically what I did was I grabbed a 3.5 blade, scooped up through that weight area where he slicks it back. We followed that up with a 2 blade, going about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through that initial 3.5 guard section, which is the 2 guards going to be the bulk of the side, or at least a fairly large part of it. And then to finish it off, we did the 1.5 blade below that. That's what we're working with right now. I'm going to make sure we fold that ear down so that the roundabout his ear is at a nice desired length for us to come in with those FX trimmers and put a nice sharp roundabout his ear. And then I added in some clipper over comb here in real time, just so you guys can kind of see the motions that I take. What I like to do, especially if the hair color is really dark, is I'll use a white comb so that there's a really nice contrast of color there. What I do, you guys can see, I'm actually going into his hair well below the section that I'm actually going to cut, and then I ride the side of his head up with that comb, and then when I get up to the bulk area where I know I'm going to be cutting, I'll angle the top of the teeth there out away from his head. That's kind of a nice way to ensure that you have all the hair that can potentially be cut in the comb, and then when you angle it out, anything that's too long will be left behind, and that's what you know you can cut. You can kind of just keep it parallel to the side of his head, and as long as you angle it out some and over direct it, then you should be good to go. I do apologize guys, I lost some footage there. Basically I'll follow it up on this other side. We're going to start things off with the FX trimmer, follow it up with the detailer just like we did the other side. You're going to do a closed no guard at the bottom, then a small section of half open, and then all the way open. You can blend up into there with the 1 guard and then bring it all together with that magic eraser half guard. And like I said, I did miss some footage there, so that's kind of jumbled together. I do apologize, but once we get over to this other side, you guys will be able to see it a lot better. Alright guys, so I did want to go ahead and leave this little section in here. This is just kind of showing you some of the stuff that I do when I'm doing the roundabout someone's ear. Make sure that you fold that ear down so that you don't accidentally nip it with your trimmers. And then as you guys can tell, I'm using just the corners of my blade. I use the left side when I'm behind the ear for the most part, and then when I get towards the front of his ear, you switch over and you can use the right side. Just trying to make those 2 little sections meet with a nice arch section. And then make sure you're always paying attention to the natural line of your client. Try to keep intact with that as best you can. Now as far as the taper here, I did get a better view here, and I slowed it down and zoomed it in, so hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. We started just like we did in the back, doing a bald section, disconnecting the beard from the taper with the FXs. We followed that up by flicking that line out with the Wahl cordless detailer. Now I'm coming in with my Ergo, and as you guys can see, I'm only using the last 4 or 5 teeth on the left side of this blade. I'm doing almost like a circle scoop through motion or a C scoop motion. Literally in my hand it feels like I'm just doing almost painting a backwards counterclockwise circle. Just kind of flicking through there, making sure that we do keep that arch shape with the no guard, with that lever all the way closed. And then you can go, I went into the one guard, and we've got it about a click or two closed, and we're just flicking up into what we left off with the detachable blades, which was the 1.5. So it's about halfway closed, and we're just going to flick up through there, soften that up just a little bit. And once we've done this, we know that we can come in with that magic eraser, which is the Wahl, not the Wahl, but the Babyliss, not the Babyliss. What? Come on, guys. Y'all know what I mean. I'm talking about the Wahl Premium Half Guard. Apologize. But you're gonna come in with that magic eraser, the Wahl Premium Half Guard, and I'm gonna start with it pretty much closed, I believe. And we're going to basically do the same exact little motions. You're going to use just the corners of your blade, and all we're trying to do is pinpoint any little dark spots that would keep this face from coming all the way together. Hey guys, that just about does it for this tutorial. I know it was a little different than normal, but do me a solid, guys. Hit me and put in that comment section. Let me know what you thought about this tutorial. Hopefully it helps somebody out with tapers. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Please consider subscribing if you're new. Enable those notifications. That way you never miss another video from me. I did recently switch back to just doing one video a week. I'm going to post that on Sunday afternoon, so make sure you stay tuned to that. Guys, my goal still for the end of the year is 5,000 subscribers, so please help me get there. I know we've taken a little bit of a hit since I went on vacation and I backed off to just one video, but I love you guys just the same. Hope you guys love me just the same. Help me get to those goals, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. The Barber Phil. I'm out.